Did you know that very many channels just get one single view from the trending algorithms? Like here, for example. You see that? One view over the course of 1 month for a particular video. That doesn't make sense, right? After all, trending is, so to say, the holy grail of growing your YouTube channel, right? If you made it into the trending tab, then basically you made it on YouTube, right? Well, not exactly. I looked at 3,000 channels and it turned out that no of those channels drive more than a single % of the overall views they get. So the trending algorithm never is a big share of the views that a channel gets. Actually, I was only able to find 13 channels that drive more than 100 views per week. And the smallest of those channels has 40,000 subscribers and drives 150 views from the trending tab per week. That's not much, right? Actually, the highest performing channel in the trending algorithm that I saw got 45,000 views per week, which is a lot, right? But you have to consider this channel has 4 million subscribers, and with that, it's only 0.5% of the traffic that that channel gets. So basically, that channel doesn't care if it's ranking in the trending tab or not. It doesn't make a big difference. And to really make sure that I don't have a skewed view in my data, I asked Matt Gielen how he sees it. He recently did a video about the trending tab as well, and I asked him if he saw channels that actually grew because of trending. And he said, nope, trending doesn't really do much for your average channel. So at this point we can say, well, trending tab is really not important. If you make it there, that's of course nice, but at this point we don't have to talk about any growth strategies that evolve around the trending tab. So let's have some fun and talk a little bit about trivia about the trending tab, because let's have a look again at that single view. What could that be? It really made no sense to me for the longest time, even though you see that for many channels happening. But then the Creator Insider channel mentioned a YouTube help article about the trending tab, which actually explains how it works here. By the way, the link is in the description, but long story short, what it looks at is if it's a video of general interest and also if it's skyrocketing at this point, yeah, it's trending. And the interesting part actually is that they have staff that does a final filtering of those videos that show up in the trending tab. So basically you have an algorithm that pre-selects videos that could be potentially shown in the trending tab, and then a group of real people decides which of those pre-selected videos are shown in the end. And then I thought, this is probably the explanation for the single view that people get in the trending tab. Basically, the video was pre-selected by that algorithm. And then I think, I could be wrong, but I think that these human reviewers watched the video one time to decide whether to show it finally in the trending tab or not. And if you just got a single view from the trending tab as well, well, that would mean that your video got through the algorithm, was pre-selected, but the human reviewer said, nah, that's not a video that we want to show in the trending tab. So if you would be really interested to rank in the trending tab, we already learned it's not worth it. But if you wanted to, you could look at those videos that get a single view and check if they fulfill the guidelines for the trending tab. Yeah, if they don't fulfill the guidelines, it is nothing bad. You actually see in the same YouTube help article what the guidelines are. Here we go. So it is a video of appeal to a wide range of viewers, for example. If you are a niche channel, you never have a chance to actually get into the trending tab. But if you are a common entertainment channel, then you could. And then, of course, some general rules you already know from the community guidelines, but also it should be surprising and novel. So you could basically look what kind of videos could you produce in order to rank in the trending tab. Not that you wanted to, but well, now you have kind of a cooking recipe for the trending tab. Do you think that makes sense with a single view in the trending tab? Let me know in the comments for some trivia exchange. I feel like we are just getting started with this series about deeply understanding the YouTube algorithms, and with 7 episodes now, I now want to do next a live stream where I discuss all that we have learned so far and ask about your questions, so I get inspired to what to do next in this series, where certainly I think we will look into metrics to more deeply understand how the algorithms interact with our numbers that we see from our side. And yeah, if this live stream is already up, you see it there. And 1 week later, I will release a best of as a video so that everyone who's binge watching this series can continue right here. And if neither of these are already up, then feel free to subscribe and ring the bell. And if you didn't do that, feel free to watch this series from the beginning. Cheers, my friends!